Hello everyone. So, it's the end of May, the beginning of June, the end of another school year. So, with the end of one school year means that we are preparing for the next school year, or for summer school. So, I'd like to take this opportunity to direct today's discussion about students and employment. That is, people who come here to go to school and come here on a student visa, either a F-1 or an M-1 student visa. F-1 is for academic students, and M-1 is for non-academic vocational students. So I'd like to talk a little bit about that today. Now, the reason I wanted to talk about this is that with the coming of the new school year, people will be coming in August, or if you start a summer program, maybe June or July. And it's important to understand whether you can work, what kind of work you can do. What does that mean to be able to work or not to be able to work while you're studying here in the US? So, I'd like to break it down to 3 areas. Whether you can work, if you can, what type of work can you do, and for how long can you do that work. Now, the reason I wanted to bring this up now, and hopefully it's something that will help you if you're going to study in the US, you understand this before you come, is that number one, I've had some students who have come to me, they're already here studying, and then they'll tell me about work situations that they may be in or possibly in, and unfortunately oftentimes it involves work that is not allowed, and so that's why I wanted to talk about this. And in addition, with the advent of the internet, where many individuals post blogs, podcasts, YouTube things, YouTube videos, and some people are even influencers. So that type of work might be affected if you come here as a student. So let's jump right into it. So first, can you work here? Well, yes and no. So first, I'd like to go through things that you can't really do while you're studying, and would be a violation of your student visa. So you can't be remote working for your company in your home country. In other words, let's say you work at a consulting firm in a foreign country, and you decide, well, I can work remotely, so I'll just get a student visa, come to the United States, and I'll study for full time, but then I'll work 4 hours a day at my company back where my home country is, and then I can get paid for it. So I will work. Well, that's not allowed under a student visa. If it is discovered by the United States, then you would lose your student status. The same thing applies if you open a company here and you work at the company. Now, of course, if you work at the company and get paid by the company, well, and it's not authorized, then of course that is unauthorized work. Same thing, you lose your status. But the same thing would apply if, let's say, you open a company because after you go to school, you're hoping that you can somehow operate this company or work with this company. Well, if you work at the company and you say, well, I'm not really working, I'm just volunteering my time. I'm just helping out, answering phones, doing some research for the company. Well, anything that constitutes essentially work, tasks that you would either hire somebody or you might have a vendor or a third party do, well, these could be considered work. So if it's not authorized, then you're also violating your student visa. And of course, if you work for somebody else, then that's considered unauthorized work. And again, if it's discovered by immigration, then you violated it. If you work and you don't tell the government, of course, then now you're also misrepresenting facts about your student status, which can then harm you later on. Now, what are we talking about? Lightest sort of slap on the wrist is, let's say that you're in school, somebody has you work someplace and you accidentally work there for a couple days or a week, and you realize it and you notify the school. School says you should not have worked there, and you say you didn't realize it, you didn't know. Maybe it involved your class or your classmates or something, and then in that case, you could request reinstatement. It's possible you could get reinstated. But let's look at some of the more egregious issues. If you work for a period of time, you didn't report it to USCIS when you were asked, or you lied about it. Well, first of all, any lie to get an immigration benefit could result in future applications being denied. If you left the United States, you apply for a student visa, another student visa, you apply for a visitor's visa, and they have this on your record, then that could be grounds to deny your return to the United States. But in addition, even if it doesn't get that far, if it's, however, discovered, and then it affects your status here. And what that means is that, at the very least, it may affect your ability to return here for a period of time. If you're found to have worked when you're not authorized, then as of the date you started working, you would have lost your student status. So what that means is, if you started working your first semester of your first year here and it wasn't discovered until second semester of your second year, you worked for over a year, then that means that you're considered out of status as of when you started working that first semester. So if you're out of status for up to 1 year, but not 1 year, then you cannot return for 3 years. You would be removable and can't return for 3 years. If, however, you have stayed for 1 year or more, then you cannot return for 10 years once removed. So those are the risks of unauthorized work.